Okay. Previous class we have started data decomposition. Okay, and in the decomposition study we have completed recursive decomposition. So before that we got to know about task dependency graph and task interaction graph, where task dependency graph the nodes are the elements and edges are representing the dependencies between those tasks. Okay. And in the interaction graph, so the nodes will be representing the task elements and the edges will be representing the instructions between those tasks. And we have seen one example for both the task interaction and task dependency graph. And then given the task dependency graph, how to find average concurrency, average degree of concurrency, what is meant by degree of concurrency, and how what is meant by maximum degree of concurrency, and how we can compute all those things that we have seen. And then critical path length, what is meant by critical path length, and to represent, how to identify the length of the critical path, that also we have seen. So that's what we have discussed in the previous slide. And mapping also, and how the mapping will be done of the task to the process. And then recursive decomposition, we have taken some quick sort, merge sort, and minimum finding element minimum of the array, so that we have seen. Then coming to today, that is data decomposition. So this is the major or most important technique which will be operated for whenever we have large data. Here we will be having two steps. First one will be partition of data based on the computations, and second one is the induced partitioning of computations into various steps. First one is first data is partitioned. After that, whatever the partitioning is, then we will be having the computation. So in data decomposition, for this partitioning purpose, we have several ways in order to partition them. First one is input partitioning, second one is output partitioning, and third one is input plus output partitioning, and fourth one is the intermediate batch. We will see each one in detail with an example. So here partitioning of output data, if you see here, each output element will be computed independently of each other as an input function, and partitioning of output data decomposes the problem into separate tasks, where each task is assigned to the work computing that particular portion. Okay. So if you take an example of matrix multiplication, where we are multiplying two matrices A and B, and the result that we are producing is C. And here we can decompose this particular matrix multiplication into four tasks based on the partition. So we'll see that. Okay. Here we have taken some two matrices A and B, and this is the output that we are going to produce. And C11 can be computed as A11 into B11 plus A12 into B1, A12 into B21. And C12, it is A11 multiplied with B12, and A12 multiplied with B2. And C21, and the similar way we can compute. Now we can consider this C11 as one task, C12 as one task, C21 as one task, and C22 as another task. So here we can decompose into two ways. First decomposition, second decomposition. So for task one, what I am doing is that I can directly, if I'm taking it as four tasks, directly I can multiply and produce the sum. Otherwise, what I can do is that here first task I am taking only A11 and B11, and then whatever the result that I have produced here, that I am adding with the other product. So this time computing it as one task, and sum of these two, whatever produced, that I am considering it as another task. And task 3, task 4 also for C12, task 5 and task 6 for C21, task 7 and task 8 for C2. Okay. Otherwise, because here also you are including a multiplication and then addition, and here only multiplication. So if you want to decompose it as four tasks, then you can directly multiply and add it. That will be one task itself. Otherwise, If you want to decompose it further, then we can decompose it like that. Okay, and for decomposition too, C11 is A11, B11, and C11 again, whatever the result that we got here, then we are adding it with A1 to B21, and C12, we are calculating first A1 to B22, then C12 will be C12 whatever we have calculated here plus A11. So it's nothing but initially we are calculating this product and then we are adding to this. For decomposition, to what we are doing initially, we are calculating this product and then we are coming up. That's it. Okay, that is one example for our partitioning. So if we see partitioning of output data, it will be done if each output is considered as a function of input. In most of the cases, it is not possible to partition the output data. So if we take the finding the sum of sequence of n numbers using n processor, so the input can be partitioned into three subsets of each equal sizes. And then each task will be computing the sum of each numbers in their own subset. And then finally we are adding them up in order to get the final result. So that is also that is one type of partition. If we take the output data decomposition example, so we will take this example of counting the instances of given item set in a database of transactions. So this transactions database is given to us. So in this case, the output, so output is nothing but the frequencies of each item set can be partitioned across the task. So how we can do? So this is the database transactions and these are the item sets. Okay, in those database transactions. And frequencies, this is output. So what is the frequency of each item set? And what we want is that as a programmer, we will be getting this transactions list and what are the item sets that we need to find. And we need to find out the frequencies of those item sets alone. A, B, C, how many times it has been repeated in this transaction database. Is only one time. D and E, how many times it has been uh, so here you can see only one DE, another DE, D. So these two items have been purchased 3 times. So the frequency is 3. Then coming to CFG, so it is CEG. So we don't have, so it is 0. Then A and E. Here we have one AE. Another AE. Here I have AE. Then coming to CD, how many times it has been purchased? Only one. D and K, it has been purchased twice. K, D and K, here it is. DK, here it is. So that's right. So similarly for BCF, CDK. So like that items of frequency, we need to find out. Now, how we can perform the partitioning? So this is the database transactions given to us, and this is also the input. Now items of frequency only for this input I can calculate. Okay, and given the database transactions and the item sets, only this I will provide for task 2, then I will get item set list only for this item set. So if I combine these two, I will get the frequency of the item sets for the whole list. Why can't we have more tasks? So it depends on the programmer. If he is wishing, he can give only A, B, C, D, E, only these two as one task, these two as another task, these two as one task. So instead of 2, you can make it as 4 also. Here, this example is for what we are trying to partition here. Input only we are trying to partition. Let's see the particular example. The database transactions is replicated across the processes, and each task can be independently accomplished with no communication. And if the database is partitioned across the processes well, then each task will be completing their partial counts, and these counts are then aggregated at the appropriate time. Okay. So then coming to the input data decomposition example. So here what we will do, here now we are giving the all the item sets. So this is given for all the processes, and this input the transactions list alone I am just trying to split up. So only for this database transactions, what is the frequency of all these item sets? What I will get for ABC 1201 like that. And for this database transaction, for the same item sets, what is the frequency that I am getting? Now, if I want to get the frequency of all the item sets for this list, then if I'm adding these two, then I will be getting my item set frequency for the whole list. So now we have seen the example for output and input data partitioning. Now coming to the input and output data partitioning. What we will do is that the input also we will partition and the output also we will be partition. So for the database transactions only half list is given, and item set also half list is given, and the item set frequencies we are calculating only for this list. And similarly for the same database transactions and different items that I am providing, I will get the items. And here the same database transactions, same. So another half list of the database transaction, I am providing this item list and get the item set. Similarly for the same data set, item sets are varying and getting the item set. Now if I accumulating all together, I will get the frequency of the whole item sets that I. That is example for intermediate data partition. Not intermediate, it is input plus output data partition, because we are partitioning both input and output data partition. Then we have intermediate data partitioning. So this is nothing but how the partitioning will be done for the intermediate partition. So computers can often be viewed as a sequence of transformation from the input to output data. So in these cases, it is often beneficial to use one of the intermediate stages as a basis for decomposition. So if I'm taking this particular example of matrix multiplication, so when I'm multiplying A11, AC1 with B11, B12, I am getting some intermediate values. Okay. And similarly, when I take another column and I am multiplying this particular row, I am getting some intermediate values. So after adding this two only, I am getting the final result. So this is nothing but our intermediate values. Now, if you see that particular example for that, so these are the intermediate values which we have completed. So let us take the intermediate value computation as stage 1, and the final result computation is stage 2. In stage 2, what we are doing, whatever the intermediate values that we got, we are trying to sum them up. Now here the tasks can be taken as this is one task, this is another task, this is another task. So like that here I have total 8 tasks. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 up to the 2, 2, 2, 8 tasks I have been provided. And for this addition, so the intermediate values addition, okay, this I can take it as task 9, and this I can take it as task 10. So like that. So this 4 values computation, I can take it as 4 tasks. So totally, if I take, I will be having some. Now, anyone tell me if I'm drawing the task dependency graph here. Okay. So how the task dependency graph will be? Only for the stage 2. So if I take this one as C11, this is C12, this one as C21, and this is C22. So the dependency is only on C111, C11, correct? And here if I take, so the dependency for C1 is only on this. For C12 also only the dependency is on D122 and D212 something. Okay. So like this, the task dependency graph, we can get it from the task that we have decomposed. So then we have, that's what about data decomposition. Then we have owner compute rule. So what it states is that the process which is assigned a particular data item, it is responsible for all the computation associated with it. So if you take the example of input data decomposition, the owner computes rule implies that all the computations that use input data are performed by the process. If you take the output data decomposition, what this rule states is that the output is computed by the process to which the data output data has been assigned. So then we have other decomposition. What's time now? So that's what I will stop today now up to here. So we have discussed about data decomposition. We have various ways in this. We can partition the input, we can partition the output, we can partition both input and output together, or we can also perform the intermediate partition. Then coming to the question type of pattern. So definitely one OpenMP program will be there for 10 marks. This is for 10 marks. And the rest set mostly, because I can't guarantee that all will get problem, all will get this kind of, okay, because it is randomly chosen. So each set will have different kind of question. So mostly definitely problems will be there. Then the questions will be like, given the instruction set, given the instruction set, given some scenarios related to that, whether we can parallelize this or not, and how the what are the problems that we will get during parallelization and solutions to that problems. After providing the solution, rewrite particular instructions in such a way that we can parallelize them. And given some I1, I2, I3, something like that. So whether we can parallelize this instruction problem. So such kind of questions we may be getting. And then definitely one OpenMP program. And the problems, it can be from module 1 and module 2, both can be problems also. And the questions will be like this. Give us some instruction set, whether you can parallelize the instructions. Okay. And you can get hazards also. What kind of hazards is present and how to eliminate these hazards. Such kind of questions also you can get. And then this memory architectures related, shared memory and distributed memory related questions also you can get. After that, related to multi-core also, please go through now. Different multi-core architectures we have discussed that how the architecture will be and some the discussion related to that architecture we need to go. So do you have any doubts minded? So
Ma'am, OpenMP program will be similar to the ones we did in the lab, or
we have already done. So scenario will be given. You need to write a parallel program for that using OpenMP.
okay, ma'am.
Okay. So will be similar because concepts will be similar only. Concepts will be similar, but whether you're proper comments. So these are very essential. Comment it properly because each one will have your own intuition when you are writing the code. Okay, and variables, each variable why it has been used. If I'm using int and what is this n is denoting here, whether it is the data side, whether it is the loop variable. So that needs to be clear. Commenting has to be there for the OpenMP code. Programs will be simple only, I hope. I'm hoping because we have already done some 4 to 5 lakhs training. Okay, and the problems, okay, already we have discussed in class, but still please go through them. I have already discussed. Okay, so the problems can be related to the Amdahl's law, Gustafson's law, and then related to the times or how many number of clock cycles is required and performance measures related questions you can get. Okay, but try to understand the question properly and then answer it. Don't get confused. That is related to the problem and given the instruction set. So you need to understand whether we can parallelize it or not. So you know whether we can parallelize it based on only one parameter. So that we have already discussed. Okay, what is that parameter? Please check the parameter and then you can write it whether we can parallelize it. Justify it properly. Whatever you write, justify. Justification is required. And then hazards also we have discussed in detail and shared memory and distributed memory where we have discussed in morning. What is the necessity of the cache coherence here and what is the protocol that can be used for the cache coherence purpose for the Messi protocol. That also we have discussed, right? Messi protocol we have discussed, and in multi-core we have discussed the dual core. Hexacore I have discussed. I'm not sure. Hexacore. Hopefully, and the architecture for the CC NUMA, how it will be. Because the syllabus is very less, so we'll go through all those things. Okay, that's what for the 2P discussion.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, Ma, tell me.
Ma'am, do we expect some questions from vectors or GPU concepts?
Vector processors, it will be there, no? For GPUs, it will be because we have not gone through in detail. So it will be just like introduction, not in brief. Okay. So you need to know the overall overview of the GPUs. What is the necessity of that? Why it has been used, and what will be the why we have moved to GPUs? Why we have when we have CPUs? What are the advantages and what is the programming language that we are using? And related to that programming language, some overview related to that.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, and we don't have module 3, right?
Oh, no module. Only one module 1 and 2. All of you, all the best because I think next, why I have discussed today is that I think Friday we don't have class.
Ma'am, could you enable the quiz review? We could see the marks and if we made any mistakes.
Still some people have not completed, no? So whoever have not completed, you please message me, ma. Okay, so that we can discuss when we can have the quiz. Okay, ma. Once everyone completed, then I will enable the review.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Answer your attendance.
If it's
Huh?
before if it's before CAT, it would be helpful, ma'am, if it's possible.
That's what I am planning. Okay. Let them complete. My
Okay, ma'am.
Ma, whoever not completed,
Present,
please. Vignesh. Ayush.
Present, ma'am.
Ishwar.
Present, ma'am.
Farhan.
Present, ma'am.
Havraj.
Present, ma'am.
Yesh,
Yes, ma'am.
Nivas,
Present, ma'am.
Parth,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi, Anirudh,
Yes, ma'am.
Sairam,
Present, ma'am.
Srinath,
Yes, ma'am.
Saurabh,
Present, ma'am.
Somesh,
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Nitin,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Sri Narayanan,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Raghavendra,
Present, ma'am.
Harika Sai,
Present, ma'am.
Vaibhav Prakash,
Present, ma'am.
Sanjit Kapoor,
Present, ma'am.
Ninan,
Present, ma'am.
Abhishek,
Present, ma'am.
Jitendra,
Present, ma'am.
Jai Surya,
Present, ma'am.
Diksha,
Present, ma'am.
Dakshina,
Present, ma'am.
Patel,
Present, ma'am.
Manav,
Present, ma'am.
Saravanan,
Present, ma'am.
Srivardhan,
Present, ma'am.
Rahul,
Present, ma'am.
Surya,
Present, ma'am.
Sachin,
Present, ma'am.
Sangramjit,
Present, ma'am.
Vaibhav,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Pritam,
Present, ma'am.
Ankan Roy,
Yes, ma'am.
Karthik,
Present, ma'am.
Manoj,
Ma'am,
Meghna
it's Meghna. Present, ma'am.
Ishan,
Present, ma'am.
Balaji,
Present, ma'am.
Mohit,
Present, ma'am.
Shyam,
Present, ma'am.
Anagasthiram,
Present, ma'am.
Praneet,
Present, ma'am.
Avinash,
Present, ma'am.
Akash,
Present, ma'am.
Remita Asin,
Present, ma'am.
Meghna,
Present, ma'am.
Harish,
Present, ma'am.
Anupama,
Present, ma'am.
Balaji,
Present, ma'am.
Maharshi Roy, Harish,
Present, ma'am.
Jayan,
Present, ma'am.
Deepak,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Varun,
Present, ma'am.
Monisha,
Present, ma'am.
Ashwani Prasad.
Present, ma'am.
See the absent is ma. Vignesh Chaudhary is absent. Then
Ma'am, Jignesh will be present, ma'am. I have texted in the chat, ma'am.
okay. Nidhish. Then Mahadeva. So this was absent is no. Saving that.
Ma'am, Nidish is also present. He's put it in the chat box.
Ma'am, 19 BC 1746 is also present. I just got network.
Name.
Maharshi Roy, 19 BC 1746.
Okay, then there is no absent base. So that's for today. But do you have any doubts in today's class or module 1 and module 2? This thing. But I can't say this is important topic. This is not important. All are important only. So we have to go through all this. Okay? But read the question before you answer. Okay. All the best, all of you. All of you, please write well.